and the ayes have it. Today we are in my backyard with Meg Rogers. Meg, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Thanks
for having me.
A lot of your artwork has got a lot of eyes stuff in it. And when I was looking at some of the work that you have, I'm just amazed at the variety and kind of where you've come from and gone to and then come around. And you really are an artist. I'm so proud of you, girl. I really am. Yeah. And so you're local, and you grew up in Peterborough, but that wasn't where you stayed. You have gone out, you've traveled, you've gone to school, you've experienced. Tell me a little bit about who Meg is.
Sure. Well, I think, like you said, like a lot of those experiences have shaped who I am. And some of those experiences weren't pleasant experiences, but that definitely, I think, gives me a different kind of perspective.
But it makes you who you are.
Exactly.
Because challenges are always opportunities.
Exactly. And I find for me that, I'm inspired by growth, and it's kind of like what my soul wants all the time, is to just keep growing and becoming healthier and all of that. And I've definitely been given some opportunities to do that. Just a little background. I did grow up in Peterborough, and to a family. I'd been there forever. And then I ended up going away to boarding school, actually Northfield Mount Herman, right across the way. And there I was exposed to a study abroad program, and I went to the Dominican Republic for the first time when I was 16.
I could see that in your art.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
So I lived there for 7 weeks with a host family, and I fell in love with a country and a boy. And then so after high school, after almost 1 year of college, I moved down there for 3 years.
Wow.
And I ended up going to design school there. I had no idea that
did you speak the language?
Art was what I wanted to do. I had taken Spanish since I was about 7.
Okay, good.
So I still didn't really understand because it's totally different. But I think the biggest thing there that I found is, number one, I do speak Spanish fluently now, which is awesome. But I found what I am meant to do with my life, which is art. And the last class I had taken in art was I took one class my senior year of high school, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. I really like this. And so I went down and I enrolled in a public university there, and then I enrolled in a design school down there. And after that was finished, it was a 2-year intensive program. I went to New York and finished up my bachelor's in illustration, and I lived in New York for 6 years. And
wow.
And now I'm back here
to New York. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Really different.
Yeah.
And really good.
Yeah. So when you were in New York, did you do logos and things like that?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So I graduated from college, and with a degree in illustration. And what was great about that is it taught me a lot of the skills I needed to do graphic design. So I started doing graphic design as a freelancer, and then I got into screen printing also in college. And I ended up opening up my own screen printing studio after working in the field a little bit. So I ran my own screen printing and design studio for about 2.5 years. And so I did logos for a lot of small businesses, and then I got involved with the streetwear apparel industry. So I was doing just a lot of urban clothing and whatnot, which was really cool in a lot of ways.
Kind of stuff? Or,
like there were a lot of trends. So there was a lot of following trends and being up to date on what sneakers were coming out and all this stuff. And I was pretty good at it. But it's not where my heart is.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing what my heart wants to do.
I think you feel, I see you exploring.
Yeah.
I see you doing
sure.
that. You've done jewelry and you did some yarn work, and I really like some of the things that I've seen up, and we're going to show a few of the work that you've done as well. I like your bunny stuff that you're working on now, and so you're just evolving. Yeah. I've seen a few of your murals, and I don't know what else you do. I mean, to me, I look at you like sky's the limit, because to me it looks like you're looking like, oh, I think I'll do this today, and I'll do that tomorrow, and oh, I want to do this too. So tell me a little bit more about where you think you're headed.
Sure. Well, I can tell you that I've just recently in the last couple years just really dedicated, like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm here to do on this planet. It's just very clear to me. And when I put my energy towards that, really beautiful things start happening. So, all right, let's just try that. And it's fun. It's what I love. So I'm currently actually illustrating a book from some writers in New York, which is really exciting.
And what kind of stuff are you doing for illustrations?
I'm doing like a watercolor and digital combination. So I wish I could show you guys, but I can't.
No, I completely
but
understand.
I wish I could.
No, but is it like a children's book? Is it nonfiction? Is it fiction? What is it?
It's kind of like, because of the subject matter, it's it could be like from like preteen into adulthood.
I think I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about mermaids.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
where I'll leave it.
Life's lessons.
Life lessons and mermaids.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So,
and mermaids are beautiful.
They are, and you know, it's this project just landed in my lap, and like I really haven't been pushing for stuff, and I find that the more I just like do my thing and create and use social media like a crazy person, the more things just kind of happen like organically. So that shows me I'm like doing something right.
Yeah.
So
So you have a nice website.
Thank you.
MegRogers.com. And I hope that everybody will take a...
MegRogersDesign.com.
MegRogersDesign.com. Okay.
There you go.
And, I hope I may not have it right at the end of the credits, so just remember that.
Okay.
MegRogersDesign.com. Okay.
Yep.
Whew. So you've got lots and lots of different things on that site. So let's just take a look at some of those.
Absolutely.
You've got a couple of things here.
Yes.
Just as... And what's your live for your die thing? I mean, I understand that, but
well, obviously,
but tell me.
So basically, we have a my friend Elizabeth Naronsky, who's a local tattoo artist at Art for Life here in Keene. She and I were just feeling kind of lonely in the fact that there isn't a lot of like young art happening. That's kind of along the lines of what we're interested in.
Right.
So we decided we would get together and start making stuff together. So, and we've created this little collective called Space Bunnies.
Right.
Because Space Bunnies. So we've created, we're creating constantly various items to sell. There's a huge market for pins and patches. So we're kind of trying to get into a market that exists already, but create things that speak to us as well. So Live for Your Die obviously is New Hampshire's.
This is a sticker, Live for Your Die. Yeah.
And New Hampshire's slogan. And for me personally, what it means is like I have to constantly be working towards my own personal freedom.
Yeah.
Or,
because if
or
you
it's
don't
not
live
worth
free,
it. Yeah.
exactly.
It's like, why am I here?
Exactly.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have this, which is a Dracula.
Yes, that was our first launch.
Swan-
That was our Halloween pin
Yeah.
that we launched.
I like
this year.
this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like it too.
Yeah. And then for, let's see, is it Easter or Valentine's Day?
So for Valentine's Day, we've
Yep.
created a bunch of, a whole line of cards, as well as some different pins, a honey bunny one, which
Honey bunny.
you get one.
Yeah, I'm so
'cause
excited.
You're a
I saw
honey
this on your
person.
website.
Yeah.
It's got a little bunny but it's a bee.
It's a
so
bee.
yeah, it's cute.
It's a
It's
honey
really
bunny.
cute. Yeah.
So these are actually all designed by my friend Elizabeth, and I do a lot of the back end work. I do some of the designing as well, but I do a lot of the because my background is in like apparel and like prepping things for production. Like
That's great.
I'm
well,
trained
so
to
you
do
guys
it,
are
so
really
I-
working well together.
really working
Yeah.
really well together.
Yeah.
So
let's take a look at some of your artwork, and then you can just tell us a little bit about like what inspires you.
Yeah.
And I can totally see your style, so that's a great thing. But we'll just go through some of your pieces, and you can
Great.
just chat a little.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Oh, the eye. The
eye.
eye. Oh my gosh. Tell me about it.
So this is actually a project. This eye is here in Keene. Some of you may have seen it. If you head over to the co-op at all, you'll probably see it. It's on the back of the Good Fortune building and Bagel Works. or the works. And basically this is a project with Friends of Public Art, headed up by Georgia Cosmatis. And basically I got permission to create a mural. I submitted a proposal. Eyes for me, I have large eyes. But for me, what they are, it's like a window to the soul. It talks about, wisdom, and there's all this symbolism forever about the eye, the all-seeing eye, the third eye. And for me, spirituality is a really important part of my life. So I really just paint the things that feel good and make me feel full. So this is what came out at that time.
Nice. And this is the one that I was talking about earlier. I love this one.
Thank you.
It's glass, and it's got a wooden frame, I think, on it, and it's got yarn on it as well. And tell me more.
Yeah, so these are, I went by this cool antique spot, and they had all these cheap old windows. So I was like, those would be fun. So I picked up a couple, and I created 2 different pieces. I'm not sure if the other one's here or not. It doesn't matter. But this one is actually in memoriam of my mentor. I had a mentor who, oopsies, hi. A mentor who passed away December 2015, and she was an older woman. She was 87, I believe, and I spoke to her pretty much every day, and she just really guided me for about 5 years. And so this one's in honor of her, and the bird, she's from Nebraska originally, and that's the state bird of Nebraska. Beautiful. And a lot of the other stuff, it's just what comes out, it's not planned usually. It's just there are pearls sewn in there too, and it's just
this is beautiful.
What feels right.
This picture does not do it justice, really, because it really is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's like a window box or a picture box or whatever you call it.
Kind of, yeah. So this is a commission piece. I started, and this is kind of where my illustration work is going, because I have my personal work and then I have my illustration, and which I'm really grateful. It's fulfilling a personal side as well. But I had knee surgery over the summer, and I was on the couch for 3 weeks, and I just started, sketching. I keep a sketchbook always. And I was just I just want to draw some sea creatures, and I posted on Instagram. And someone hit me up. They're like, "Can you do an octopus for my fiance or whatever?" And I said, "Okay, yeah, you're gonna pay me, great." So, so this actually lives in Hawaii now. And then actually from this, I got a second commission, and the book kind of came out of that. Wow. So it's really been a lot of just, doing the next right thing and being authentic, and just I want to do this and sharing it with the world.
Yeah, so. I think it also helps you to visualize that you can do it.
Yes.
And imagine where you're going to be, and not to say that you know how you're going to get there, but just to realize that you can do it.
Absolutely.
You just have to not be scared.
Yeah, and
it's hard to take that
step.
And
I think a lot of it, for me, I really connect, like I mentioned before, spirituality is really important to me. So when I make art, I connect that way. So that kind of makes it easier, I think, because it just feels really good.
Right.
And I feel way more centered.
Yeah.
So that helps in that confidence, but it's taken a while too. And it's not 3 years ago I was doing very different work than I am now. So
exactly.
And just looking at some of those pieces were from last year, and I'm like, oh yeah, things have changed a lot,
Yeah.
And but it's definitely, I've had to make a lot of decisions in order for it to go the way it's going. I used to get people asking me to paint portraits of their family. I can do that. I'm trained and I can do that stuff, but I'll do it and then I'll procrastinate it because I don't like doing it. And I've had to just make those decisions. I'm not going to do that. And that's freed the energy up for the things I do want to do.
Right.
So yeah.
Let's look at some more.
Okay.
Is that the same one,
so
or is that?
So this is a detail from that same octopus piece.
I love the colors that you're using.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is where I kind of look at Dominican
Republic.
Because
Absolutely.
the bright colors that they use.
Absolutely.
I mean, in such a terrible place to live, in my point of view, in the sense of what they have to go through. But they use such bright colors. It just brightens their lives.
And the culture is bright. Like
is.
it's
And,
warm, and the people are warm, and it's
they
hot.
are.
And
For everything that they have to go through, they are the most friendly,
Totally.
family-oriented. It's just so sad to see the lives that they have to go through. But they're happy. I mean, in their way of being happy.
Like there's this kind of sense of, and this is something I didn't, I guess something that I really appreciated living there that I didn't experience, living around here is I come from, the privilege we come from living in this area. We're a very privileged community in general. Not 100%, but in general, and
Yeah, we have electricity. Can you
we have
imagine? They don't have electricity sometimes.
Exactly.
Places to go to the bathroom,
clean
yeah.
things. We have water that we can drink out of the
food,
faucet.
Right. Yeah.
The power would go out multiple times a day. The running water would come. In one of my apartments, it came like once a week, and we'd have to store water, And so I think, there's that warmth of the culture of everyone's considered family. Like, oh, you're hungry? Here's a huge plate of food. Like, don't even worry about it. You need to eat.
And they can't afford it, and they'll give it to you.
Exactly. And it's something that, like, it's just a different culture.
It is.
And I'm really, really grateful for that. Yeah. And it's really helped me appreciate the things I do have, because I grew up not appreciating a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when you have everything that you need,
right,
you don't learn that that's just not the way it is everywhere in the world. And
yeah.
I feel that way because of some of the travel that I've done too. And it just opens your eyes and it makes you appreciate life. And so now you're expressing that through your art. So that's wonderful.
That.
I think we have some more more to look at.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is just another detail from that same piece. I just like to show that, from afar a piece may look a certain way, but up close there's a lot of different things going on. And lately I've been using a lot of, using both watercolor and acrylic paint. So this is one of those pieces and ink, and I think some enamel as well. So there's actually a lot more going on than at first one might see. So this is the second octopus piece that came from just posting things on Instagram too, both commissions. So this is just a very similar technique and style as well.
That's great.
So this is
the eye.
Yeah, so this is from a show.
Is that an earring or what is
No,
it?
it's actually just like a little small wall hanging. It's cotton yarn. There's a wishbone. That's what it's hanging from. Leather and pearls, and hemp is in there as well. So this piece is actually called Talisman. So it's like this idea of it's like a good luck charm, that you might hang in your home, like by the door. Yeah. I really love the idea of making objects and not really everyday items, but pieces that are both art but also have a function. And I'm really interested in, like I said, the spirituality, but also like folk traditions and stuff like that.
Because this is kind of like one of those Indian things. What do you call it? Something catcher. Dream catchers.
Yes.
That's what that would remind me of.
And it kind of reminds me of like a hamsa.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or any kind of like the evil eye, like Turkish evil eye, and like just like a protective piece, but like it's my own. Yeah. That I'm creating. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So have you not worked on any mediums? I mean, what do you want to work on?
Like different things I'd like to.
Would you like to do tattooing? Would you like to tattoo people's
bodies?
I
have a lot of them. I've thought about it, but just logistically, it's like a really, I'm still young. I'm 30, but now it's, if I were 22, I might be like, yeah, let's go do an apprenticeship and just like take 5 years, But that doesn't make much sense at this point. Although I would love to get a tattoo gun and like tattoo fruit, because that's one way to practice learning to tattoo, and I think that would be a really neat thing. And then photograph them, and anyway, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I have played with photography a bit. I've worked in sculpture. I'm really interested in doing some work with video. That's something that I'm interested in. I'm actually going to be collaborating and working on a music video soon. So that's kind of a neat little segue, and see how that feels. Yeah. But really what I want to be doing more than anything is more big walls. I love painting big, and it's it just feels good.
Yeah.
So where body's moving and everything.
Do you get your ideas from things that people ask you to paint when you do murals, or have you ever had anybody just say, "Hey, I don't care, just paint a wall"?
So one I'm working on right now,
wow.
which is awesome.
And is that local? Or,
yep.
Yeah.
In Keene, it's in a home here in Keene. There may be a photo of it, but it's what's really cool is because I've decided to say no to things that I'm not really passionate about doing. It's opened this space where I'm being appreciated for my style and who Meg Rogers is as an artist. So I'm getting much less. Just by saying no a couple times, I'm getting much less, hey, could you do this specific thing?
Right.
And if I do, I can choose whether or not I say that. Now, if someone asks me for an octopus, they know they're getting it in how I do it.
Right, your
which
style.
So there's some play in there for doing what people want, but I'm really grateful that I'm at a point where people are coming to me for me and not just because they want a picture of something.
Yeah.
So,
I think you're doing it for the right
grateful.
reason. And what I'm seeing with you, you're not selling out. Kind of. You're
Right.
doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about who Meg Rogers is.
As a person? Oh, well, I can be very complicated.
I think you are. Because you're not exactly what people see right from the surface. No.
I can be, I think I have a lot of layers, and I, just like my work does. And there's always tons going on up there, and I have to learn to tune it out a lot because it's just too much. So I have to kind of like edit my own thinking a lot of the time, which is
hard.
Really hard. But it works out a lot better if I do that.
Yeah.
If I don't, it's
focus,
just like,
Meg, focus.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm kind of like probably ADD and like not medicated and which is good for me, but so I have to use tools. That's why I need spirituality so much is because without it, my thoughts take over and it's not pretty. So, and from experience, I had when I was like 16 to 22, I had a really rough time and I was a mess.
Yeah.
And I am very lucky to not have gotten into more trouble than I could have.
Good.
But
that as bad as that might have been, that is what has made you who you are.
100%. Because I wouldn't have had to, from some of these experiences and I'm grateful for it today because if I didn't, have a brain that's susceptible to addiction and depression and obsession of things, like if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have to be constantly seeking like a solution to that, a spiritual thing, which is what brings me to my work. So like, it's clear that everything happens for a reason. And if I don't see it that way, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Because
look at all the beauty that you have. That has come about. Again, we don't want to focus on all of the terrible things because we all have terrible things that happen in our lives.
I switched to Spanish. Sorry, it happens sometimes.
But that's what makes us who we are. Right. But as long as we can find brightness out of it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I think for me that's come a lot in like self-care, and I have to really make sure like I'm sleeping enough and I'm eating on time.
Everybody needs that, but you
absolutely.
Yes.
But like for me, I can just get really crazy if I don't. Like I'm just like a little more sensitive, I think, than a lot of people. And so I've, and I don't do it perfectly all the time, but like the bath is like my like Zen meditation spot, and just really learning to take care of what's going on inside of me so I can be of best service to the world, because I really believe that like our talents and gifts are here to be shared with each other, and if I'm not taking good care of myself, I have nothing to give. So which means I have to take care of myself first before I help someone else, but and I just feel like I need to say this, like I'm incredibly grateful. I get to mentor some women, and I'm incredibly grateful for that because it's like, I don't know what I need to say with that.
Don't you get more out of it?
They teach me more
exactly
about myself, and it's almost like I get to be a big sister to some women, and teach me patience like you wouldn't believe, which teaches me patience with myself. So it's good.
Yeah. No, you know, that's one of the things is when you give, you don't realize how much you're getting back.
Right.
You know, I feel like I love to give and give and give, but I don't, you know, I don't think about how much comes back in. And again, being grateful is really important.
Huge.
You know, seeing how other people live and not always judging because you see something, you just make, well, this must be the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, that's just what we have to do in life. We have to look at the big picture and do what makes us feel good inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have one life.
Exactly.
It's one.
Yeah.
If I have one message to send out there.
Even though you have a third eye.
That's right. But like I'm very grateful that I don't know, at a very young age, I was like, I have one life and I got to live it. And part of that's from seeing some things growing up that frustrated me. And you know, I just don't see the point in not living the way one wants to live, you know, and no judgment to anyone else's style or decisions, but that's what I need to do for me. And it's not easy because I'm kind of a weirdo in a good way. I own that.
Again,
in a good way.
The eyes, not I, have it.
Right.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for being in my backyard today. It was really great talking with you.
Thanks, Jody.
Yeah. Good luck with all your stuff.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing more artwork. Yeah.
Thank you.
So today we've been in my backyard, and let's see. Love life, live well, and be grateful. And we'll see you again in my backyard. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you.